And although people don't know about you in this very moment, the world would know soon. That's how you have to look at it. That's how I look at it on certain things. Like, it's cool, okay, but just keep going. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
That's all.
You just have to keep going, and it has to be within to know, like, in a humble way.
Very excited to welcome not only Julian to my left, my best friend, the homie, but to the right, we got a new face.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? My bad.
No, you good.
I'm new to the scene. I ain't a media trained.
We're good, bro. We don't get media trained. Just come as you are, like we say. But Zay from UNLISTD, we met about a month ago. And, you know, I think the biggest thing before we get into this episode and get into like Zay's takeover, which I want to call it, this dude is a really humbled individual where we heard his story before this and just had a lot of great things to share. And where BHD is going is we're going in the direction of really trying to attract these young men athletes who have played a sport, are in the process of playing a sport, or wanting to get into a sport, and having the conversation and setting the tone of what we go through, what we've been through, and how we got there. So, Zay, bro, I appreciate you for being on the show.
Oh, yeah, glad to be here. Appreciate y'all for the love and hospitality.
Yeah.
Making it seamless. The whole operation very seamless.
No doubt. Love,
yeah, man.
For sure.
It's been great. So I don't want to put you on the spot harshly, but tell us a little about and tell the listeners a little about your story, bro. I want you to just kind of touch on the highlights of it, and then Julian and I have generated some questions for you to kind of unravel it. But yeah, go ahead and share a little bit about yourself.
So I'm born and raised California. Government first name is Xavier. Everybody call me Zay. I got another nickname back home, but I had to
don't want to share that.
Myself. Nah, I feel it. Okay, rebrand myself.
Yeah, we get it, bro. We get it.
Yeah, born and raised in California. Student athlete my entire life. 3-sport athlete my entire life until you got to pick a sport when you go to college. So when I got to college, played football. Did 2 seasons at JUCO at Fresno City College. Took a year off because I had a baby at the time. Wanted to be full-time dad. That's when I started like getting into like the customization of shoes and cleats and stuff like that. And then after that year, I was kind of like on the road of being like not broke, but like funless, I would call it. I don't like saying broke, but I was funless.
I like that idea.
Figured it out on some. The coaches still wanted me to play football for them, and then I ended up pinning them up after a year of them recruiting me. They wanted me to come out here to Arizona. And in my mind, when I am funless, I'm like, I need to find another way without spending my own money, somebody else's money to get myself in a better position. So I just took that scholarship as like a free ticket to Arizona to a new state. You know what I'm saying?
It's a cool mindset.
Money, no money out of my own pocket besides the gas to get here, which is like $100 to my name at the time, which got me here comfortably. And then that was in 2021 when I moved out here. And then I've been honestly in the nightlife scene since 2021. So I'm an industry kid right now.
You're a vet.
Yeah.
You're a seasoned vet.
Low key. Like I'm running bars right now.
Hey, respect, bro. Respect. You're doing it the right way.
Long journey. Apart from that, with me being in the industry scene, I work at Breakfast Bitch downtown Phoenix, the bar program manager there. I run 3 bars right now. And I'm like interim, like general manager / restaurant manager right now. And on the side, just to make some extra bread, I also bartend at STK in Scottsdale. And then when I'm done doing the clock ins for the white man, I'm going to call it, that's when I put all my time and energy and all my creativity into my own brand, UNLISTD. So when I'm not clocked in, I'm punched in at my own suite out there in Mesa, customizing shoes. Starting new projects. Like I've been doing shoes for a minute and that's all I've been known for. But like me dibbling, dabbling and doing the hats and doing the bandanas now is kind of like, a lot of people who want to support but don't want to pay that custom shoe price, they would much rather pay like the bandana price or the hat price. So it's convenient for them to show support, and it's been real good for me. You know, like I'm not really complaining at all right now. Everything is just flowing right now. I wake up like I've been broke before, but it's kind of like I'm on some. I spend money and then the next morning I'm making money as soon as I wake up. It's kind of like weird that I'm in this position right now because
give and take.
I've always been like, well, I'm gonna get this next dollar. I got to get a new job. Like I'm so like comfortable right now. As long as my kids is cool, I'm cool.
That's
blessings.
Yeah,
blessings.
That's awesome, bro. The last thing that I heard, first off, thank you again for going in depth about your story, and we'll touch a little bit more on the areas that we can focus on. But I heard you say something at the end, and the feeling of you spend something, you make something, you always have that mindset of like always got to be on. where I crafted your story and your angle is like, when the game ends, who are you? And that's the kind of like moral of the thing, or the theme of the story that I want to have in today's episode. But, you know, it sounds like who you are never changed after the game ended, bro, because
100%.
I think we could all speak to it. And for the new listeners out there, well, you know, we're all, you know, student athletes, we're all still athletic, but I don't think the mindset of wanting more and wanting to do better ever leaves from your athletic mindset when you're in college.
I agree. And I think being an athlete my entire life and going through different coaches your whole life, you get to get different personalities because the people who've coached you have gone through life like countless times before you. So you get put on game about how to maneuver life through football specifically. So like one of the number one questions I was asked every day by the coaches in JUCO was, what's your why? Like it can apply to like, football and sports, but when you apply that to your life, it changes your whole perspective on how you move within your life. So I think that's kind of why I'm an athlete at heart, but the mindset is still like everything that I was taught and told, like as an athlete, I kind of just applied to my life, and it helps me move easier throughout life that way. You know what I'm saying? So,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know Julian and I have had many conversations about like, you know, we never get out of the athletic mindset of, you know, wanting to be better, looking at life as, you know, what's your why? How do we attack your why? So I think the foundation of, you know, what you've built and what you're continuing to build on top of, like you said, going to your 9 to 5, you know, every single day, it's going to work out, bro. So that's really cool that you're able to continue the grind and see it as a blessing rather than something that's like, man, I got to do this. Like, you know, I got to go and work for the white man. But no, you're seeing it as this is only going to help me get better. 100%. And I think that's, being an athlete, you can have two mindsets. You can see something that's going to make you better, or you can see it as this is the block. I'm going to make an excuse for this, and I'm just not going to work like that. Yeah. So, you know, the friction of it all can really go and dial in.
Yeah. And low key with me working in the industry, it's kind of like what really applies to my life, what I live by, honestly, is like, so in 2019, I had a conversation with some guy when I wasn't doing the shoes like heavily full time, when I didn't want to go work for nobody else. Some guy told me that if you want to have your own business, don't just stop your 9 to 5 or wherever you getting your money from to focus on your business. He's like, have your 9 to 5 fund your business, and once you're comfortable enough, leave that 9 to 5. So I applied that, and then two, while working in the industry, working behind a bar, one dude told me, it was probably like 3-4 years ago. He said, one conversation could change your life. So that's why like it's kind of like that's the mindset how I move moving forward. Like, because like the conversation that, I mean, we didn't talk in person, but we talked like via through the DMs or whatever. But like this moment right here could probably change my life off of me hitting you up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or vice versa, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I live by that. If anything that I do live by, it's probably gonna be one conversation could change my life for sure.
The book, bro.
Yeah, that's a great point. I will ask you this, man, because you know, with us all being athletes, with you specific being an athlete, and now, you know, pivoting into being your own business owner and now having Unlisted, when was that specific point to where your mind frame changed from, okay, I've been playing sports, football for this time of my life, I'm making a shift, and it's not sports anymore, it's shifting into, you know, being a business owner? When did that happen for you?
Honestly, probably in 2021, 2022 kind of is when I decided to make that shift, because like I've told you guys before, I think once you get a feeling of like the momentum you can build and then you lose it, you do everything in your power to try to get it back. So I think after that year of me playing my football season out here, I made the decision to like drop out of I'm in college, and then just focus on doing the business aspect, but not losing the fundamentals that I've learned while being a student athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my mentality is like, if I can pay somebody else to do it, or I can put all this time and effort into making somebody else rich, why can't I just do it to myself? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I'm at right now. And I think that's where the shift happened at. It's just football. Football is where it all started at. You know what I'm saying? I could have been like a super bad kid growing up and not listen to the coaches, but I take like pride in relationships.
For sure.
I love that, bro.
So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the coaches I ran into, people that I met playing with them, and just running into different personalities. It's kind of like you get a different aspect of life. Like, I come from a small town in California, Tulare, California, and if I was to be there still, it would just be like just regular, like the mindset they have back home. It's like a small town mindset where when you do grow up or you get a career, it's working at a warehouse or a first responder or like being a teacher. Like that's not something I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
I feel like my personality was way too big for a 9-to-5 seeing the same people every day.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't victim to my environment. So I think, but the shift happened probably in 2021, 2022.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah. And I think, cause I also come from a small town, side of things. And I would agree. And I would add to it that the thing that I found that I was most grateful was, and I didn't realize it until I left, was that foundational aspect of, like you said, being able to mix and mingle with a bunch of different personalities. That only comes from your roots.
Yeah.
You know, where you're from, the people that you're around. And as much as I wanted to get out because I was noticing some of the similarities of like, there's only a handful of things that people would go into and establish a career, establish a family, and get to buy a home. I saw myself as like, I don't want that. That's not attractive to me, but to someone else, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I think what I appreciate the most is when I look, you know, when I evaluate myself, I'm like, okay, my small town foundational values of meeting people, being respectful, being kind, being humble came from where I'm from. But the overarching like competitiveness, wanting more, wanting to take care of people, that came from, I would say, my family first. But most importantly, having that competitive nature of, man, I looked at that dude across, you know, the DB, or I looked at that quarterback or the defensive lineman. I'm like, I'm gonna beat him. Yeah. It's a conviction thing. We always talk about that. And once you turn on that switch, you can't turn it off.
Yeah, 100%.
And even if you're in the dark, like you said, there's a certain rhythm that you get into. And once you get out of it, all you can think about is, I need to get back into that rhythm, whether it's life, whether it's a sport, whether it's, you know, working out. And it's hard to describe that to regular people. But as athletes, I think we can all sit here and have a very long conversation about that because we get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask you a question kind of based off of what Julian was saying, but, you know, tell us a little bit about Zay as a student athlete. Like, what was his personality like? What was he like, you know, inside, you know, the locker room, outside the locker room? How was he mingling with people compared to Zay, present day Zay, I should say?
Honestly, like I said, my personality's just been big already, so I never wanted to captivate myself into being like into a small circle. But I could use like going to so I'm from Tulare, going to Fresno to play JUCO football there, and then it's a shift change for us back home because it's like it's a bigger city, different people, and it's like a whole different lifestyle. So honestly, it's kind of like, how can I put it? Like, dang, I'm trying to think how I can put it. Ask me that question one more time.
Yeah, like what was college football Zay like compared to your present day Zay?
I think the biggest thing for me was understanding what integrity meant. So even when
that's a good one, bro.
Even when the coaches weren't around, I was always making sure I was like doing everything I was supposed to, so that I could see the field on Saturdays or on Friday nights, whatever the day it was when we played. And as far as a person inside the locker room or in the classroom, I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards me and who I am just based off of the energy that I bring in my personality. I can gauge from what I've been through with many people in my life that everybody wants to be like a friend of Zay or a friend of Xavier, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like, I think that's all it is. And I come from a home where I wasn't raised by my parents, and we could start there. I was raised by my dad's sister and her husband. And with that, my aunt at the time, heavily in the church. So I was born and raised, I would call it in church. Okay. So living with people like that, it's kind of like, you don't take anything for granted. You appreciate all the little things, but you also understand that you can get back even when you don't have everything that you want. You know what I'm saying?
That's real, bro.
The personality, I think, started back at home, growing up, and seeing how my aunt operated. Because she's the sweetest soul that I've probably ever met in my life. You know what I'm saying? And she's the most selfless person that I've ever met. I think I've got a lot of her in me, instilled in me, to where like seeing how she navigated life, I just applied to mine. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a reflection of her, or she a reflection of me. But I'm just a cool human being, in my opinion. Like I stay out of the negative stuff. I'm not like unapproachable. That's the biggest thing for me. And I'm always smiling or always laughing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make everybody laugh and put a smile on everybody's face. I'm just a good soul to be around, in my opinion.
I would attest to that. Yeah, absolutely, bro.
No, for sure.
It's funny, before I'll give Julian the next question, but when we were out at that SIPTEL event, it was funny because I remember you, and you were just dancing, having a good time. Like, and I think, and we've talked about this again, you know, I'm sure you've seen Coach Carter, and when Timo's talking about, you know, dimming your own light. So that way you don't feel like you're making anyone else insecure. I feel like for people like us that are doing something, trying to be successful, know how to dress, know how to take care of themselves, it's easy for you to like carry that type of personality, and the outside perception of people are like, he's one of those egotistical dudes that thinks of themselves. And, you know, I think we've all heard it before, but I remember seeing you and I was like, bro, that dude looks like he's just living his best life.
Absolutely.
And you were there for a little bit of it. And I was telling a couple of the people, I'm like, bro, I mean, he looks good for sure. He's got the fit on. And, you know, when you have that look, when you have that feeling, you're just going to do whatever the vibes, you know, call for.
100%.
So I will give you your flowers in that sense, bro, where it's like, yeah, you definitely carry yourself with a very, you know, good head on your shoulders, very confident. I wouldn't even say with an ego. I'll say very confident and convicted into knowing what type of man you are. So that's cool.
I appreciate that heavily.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something that I think is very important and imperative, the word integrity.
Definitely.
And so with integrity and also customization, so bandanas, hats, shoes, how did you shift into that space? And then how do you tie integrity into that for your basically your business now?
It's a good one.
Honestly, it's funny, but like, so it wasn't up until a few months ago that I legally got an LLC for my business. So
Congratulations, bro.
No, for sure.
That's it. I don't know nothing about the legal stuff, but like I ran into somebody who can help me with it. But before that, like I said, I started in 2017 up until before I got my LLC. I think the integrity lies where when you're placing your orders and you're handling real people's real money, they have that like lack of trust because of all the scamming that be happening and stuff like that. So I think one, just being super communicative through the process of whatever customization that I am doing. Like if I just like take an order and I take the money and I don't say nothing for like weeks on end, knowing I might be doing the work, but not saying anything, because when you place an order online, you get updates and you get tracking numbers. For sure. Without having the legal stuff or having the legal name attached to what I do, it was just harder for me to like build a clientele and get clientele, because everybody will go to a website, but I don't have one. Everything is through DMs or my iPhone. So the integrity lies where one, be super transparent with everybody and communicate to the highest level that I possibly can as someone who wants to have their own business. Because like I said, the scamming is real bad when it comes to little stuff like this, because I've been scammed trying to invest in myself doing shoe stuff. So like I just would never want to make anybody feel that type of way because I don't have a website or I didn't have the LLC at the time. But now that I do have an LLC, it gives me a bit more of a broad aspect and ground to do more and be comfortable doing work, because I'm legal now, so I can get sued technically. But once I got the LLC, it's more like I can do big contracts now. So I can go to corporations, or I could talk to like the little teams that want to do a broad spectrum of like custom cleats or whatever.
For sure.
I just think being true to my word, and even though my clients don't get the process of a tracking number, or they don't see like updates like thoroughly or email notifications, it's kind of like just always being active on my socials, I think is the biggest thing for me, because I can't take someone's money and not be active at all, because they're gonna be like,
that's a good point.
For sure.
I think that's where it lies at the most, if anything. I just don't want to be labeled a scammer or someone that is running tacky business but do good work, but I'm just not consistent with doing proper steps to be who I am as a business person.
For sure.
It's a crazy thing to think about, because you know you're in merchandise, right? Like you're obviously, when you look at merchandise and what the world we're in right now, it's very much like I got to see it before I'm going to pay for something. That makes a lot of sense. But I think you're breaking down barriers, bro, where like you said, you don't have a website, you know, you got your LLC, which is amazing, but it shows that the transparency that you've had and just the open communication with these people and taking the extra step of, I mean, personally in this day and age, bro, if somebody was to say like, hey, I'm going to be more in communication with you than me giving you a website that's just can be outdated, it can have old reviews, I would choose a text message every day.
I was just
honestly, and
man.
You're onto something, bro, because I think you're going to separate yourselves from everyone else that may be in this or trying to do what you're doing, to where they're getting a personalized text message, call, DM from you, not a bot, not somebody else that's working on your team. No, they're getting it from you, the person creating it. So in a sense, that's the processing,
Yeah.
you know,
It is.
order and the confirmation in its own self. So,
Yeah. I honestly
yeah.
didn't think about it like that. I'm so scared to be labeled a scammer or someone
Nah,
who just
yeah.
takes money, but I never thought about it like that. Like I'm creating a whole new lane. I do know that doing that, I'm building personal relationships with my clients.
sure.
Absolutely.
But I ain't never thought about it like that. They make me not even want to do a website no more at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in the works right now. But
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to have, but I think, you know, what you're doing, I think I would, as a consumer, I would definitely rather hear from the person than to go to their website. Like, but I think the way you're working it, bro, and what we're trying to say is you're on a good path for
I
sure.
appreciate it.
For sure.
Definitely needed that one.
Yeah, definitely. But no, and I want to kind of get into the next thing of what you had mentioned about, you know, being just in communication all the time. Is that something that you learned from when you lived with your family, or is that something that you kind of like was established to you when you were playing sports and coaches were talking to you about communication and being honest and whatnot? Like, where did that start?
It didn't even happen from home, honestly. Like growing up, my uncle, he was army person or whatever.
Okay.
And so he was super like quiet, or he didn't say anything unless he had a problem with something or somebody. So like communication between me and him was like slim to none. My aunt, she overly communicated, but it wasn't something that it was instilled in me. I think I learned that growing up and going through different phases of life and understanding how other people move, and communication is a very, very big key. And when I was in JUCO, I learned that communication or public speaking is one of the number one feared like things in life. So I made sure I took a communication class in college. And then once I got past the aspect of like talking in front of people, it's kind of like, it just makes it easier for me moving forward after that. I just think everything that I've gone through in my life, as far as communication, what communication has done for me, I don't see why I would shy away from not being communicative. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty much, it's just everything. Who I am as a person right now is basically because of the life that I've lived and the people that I've ran into. I wasn't raised to be who I am today, in my opinion. Like I wasn't taught all the things that I know. I wasn't taught all the things that I am trying to do. It's like I'm learning as I'm going right now. So every day, I feel like I'm in school every day. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
God's
great
favor
saying.
too. Yeah. That's God's favor too. When you have a hand over you and you have attributes that you didn't necessarily learn from a household, or you learn from being outside, or you just learn from picking it up by just life. That's God's favor. So I think that's a blessing that you said that. Also, I know there's something that you mentioned to us, you know, before when you spoke about the name Unlisted. If you could explain to the audience, how did you get? I think it's a powerful explanation on how you got the name, and then also where do you see fit for your business moving forward with Unlisted?
The way I got the name is, I feel like everybody's success story cliche situation, but like when I first started, I didn't know what to call myself at the point in time. I think I labeled myself toe-to-toe customs. At the point in time, it sounded good in my mind, but I know it's super long. I think I was that for a minute, and then it wasn't up until a few years ago when I was having a conversation with one of my closest friends who was like also born and raised in church, and he moved like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he would come out and hang out with us sometimes, but that's not like something he like, let's go down and do it. So when me and him talk, we have real deep conversations. And the night after that conversation, I went to bed and I like had a dream about the whole conversation we was having about my business, shoes, stuff like that. And then the dream I had was something told me like Unlisted, but without the E. And in my mind, it just made mad sense. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it flows so smooth, because the goal for my brand is, one, I want to create stuff that not everybody has. I'm real big on one-of-one everything. Like I can have all the Jordans that everybody else have, but I'm the type to customize every single pair that I got.
That's sweet.
Every time they do a new drop of some 11s, everybody and their mama got them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just staying on the one-on-one aspect and tying that to Unlisted is kind of like, you got this whole list of all the shoes and all the merchandise that everybody does have, but you also have this list that's like a secret menu at In-N-Out. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Unless
sweet.
you know about it, you know about it. You know, so I think that's kind of like where I'm tying everything in with Unlisted. I think just staying on a page of doing the one-on-ones is working for me, and it fits the brand that I've created, and I honestly love the name. You know what I'm saying?
It's smooth.
It is.
Yeah.
Exclusivity to it. Exclusivity. Yeah.
What was the second part of that question?
Oh, where do you see moving forward, or ultimately? I know you expressed to us like things that you would want to do with the brand, but what do you want to do just moving forward with your vision for your brand?
Oh, you know, I talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the time. So, mind you, I do work in the industry. I do want to have my own lounge, and I want to put it back home.
Oh, that's sweet.
But that's apart from like the customization situation. But I would call that unlisted lounge. You know what I'm saying?
Don't give them too much. Don't give them too much. You gotta hold some stuff
Don't
close.
bleep it out. You're gonna bleep it out.
Facts. Yeah.
But outside of that, you know, in LA and in Las Vegas, they have, I forget what the name of the business is, but you can pull up to the store and do customization shoes. Like if we were to go to Vegas right now, we could go to the store and do a custom class.
Is it that big, the big sneaker store? It's in the mall.
Yeah.
I've seen
I think
it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know
Caesars?
you're talking about Caesar. Yeah, Caesar's
Yeah.
Palace.
Yeah,
It's that big shoe
I've seen
store.
it, bro.
Yeah.
I
It's
forget what it's
smooth.
called, but
Yeah.
that's low-key what I want. Like
That'd be tough.
Because one, custom shoes isn't something that everybody and their mom do or can do, or you can't just go to a store like you can to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wanted to do that, I would have to go to Vegas or LA.
No doubt.
And I think for me, understanding that a lot of people don't do or can't do what I do as far as doing the shoe customs, what I do want is to get my own store kind of like that, where it's just like a whole store full of like blank, all white, like Air Force Ones, Jordan Ones, or just canvases basically.
That's tough.
And then turn it into like the custom thing that they have out there in LA and Vegas.
That'd be sweet.
That's really, for me, that's the end goal for the brand. I mean, the suite I have now is cool, but it's also like a step forward to what I know that I want. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I do want like an actual, like a retail store that looks like a sneaker store, but you can do classes like a date night with your girl and come customize.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. I'm gonna be honest. That's fire.
That'd be tough.
You'd be able to like book us for like a kid's birthday party, like we'll supply everything, and then we pull up and it's just like a custom kicks party. You know what I'm saying? I have big ideas for my stuff, and I can actually like try to do those now because I have my LLC. But that's a big goal for me. I want my own store.
That'd be
It's
nice.
making me think, bro. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and get off. But like,
go ahead.
When we have, the curations that we spoke about off camera,
sure.
that could be another element into it. You know what I mean? Because it just all blends in together, man. But that's fire. What you're saying reminded me of, and I'm pretty sure you all would know about this, when Nike ID had the Nike ID, when you could Nike ID your shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that anymore,
That was
but
sweet.
it's like
They actually do. So the store, I was in LA a few weeks ago, and the Nike store next to Santa Monica, next to Santa Monica, they have the Nike store where they have a Nike ID section in the store.
They do? Okay.
But it's cool in my opinion, like as a true customization person or whatever, I'm like, that shit is mid to me.
it's limited. It's very limited. No, it's limited.
It's very
Facts.
limited.
It
Like
is.
it's
It
cool,
is.
but like if people have the complete freedom to do whatever the heck they wanted, it's like, bro, I would probably wash Nike ID.
No,
out,
for sure.
So no, yeah, they still have it, but
It's limited. The colorways are different. But
Yeah.
what you're saying, man, I'm visualizing what you're saying. And it's like, bro, you have a specific space and a niche that's needed for people that get fly and also like have an expansive, like creative mindset. So nah, bro, like keep going, man, because it sounds good. And I can see where you want to go with it, man. That's tough. For
I
sure.
appreciate it. Yeah.
It reminds me of that spot. I mean, there's a few of them, but like that spot where you can make your own candles.
Yeah.
Like the same principle of it.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
And I mean, bro, I've been there a couple times, and it's honestly really fun. Like when you
for
get in that
sure.
creative space for like a paint and sip, like I
what
see
it
where you're
is.
pulling from,
It
bro. And
is.
I think I could see like a really smooth vibe and vision, and then you just come together as people that you're a day night where you just enjoy customizing kicks.
Customize some kicks on some fly
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying, bro. That's smooth.
Sipping
Yeah.
and customize
That's what I
some
was-
shoes, man. That's fly, man.
Have a
for
DJ
sure.
spin in.
That's a vibe.
Yeah,
for
like,
real. That's
and
real.
I low-key, I already got a lot of things. Like even if because I named it Unlisted LLC. I could have did Unlisted because of sneakers, but I felt like I would have been limiting myself
For sure.
to like what I'm doing now with just doing the bandanas and hats. But I want like how Nick Cannon has Incredible. He has that, but he has so much other stuff under there. But it's
branch.
funded and branded by Incredible. That's how I want to move with Unlisted. Like, yeah, I do shoes, hats, and bandanas, but at the same time, like if I want to do the lounge thing, like it's all under the same LLC. And I
Smart.
think I forgot what I was gonna say, but like like I had an idea to like do a podcast too, because me and my friends have crazy conversations. Like, why not record it? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I would have called that Kicks and Conversations. You know what I'm saying?
It's
just like the ideas be flowing in my head.
He gets it.
But you're giving a lot of jewels right now on camera, man, for real.
I'm like, yo, take note of it.
No, I'm just kidding. A blessing, man, for sure.
No, yeah, I just think, but with the shoot, like with the store that I do want, like you said with the candle thing, or even doing the, you could do like custom carpets now or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like 1, it's fun. 2, it's a one-on-one. 3, you did it and you paying for something that nobody else got. And it just, people have more fun spending money on something that they can
That's true.
get their money's worth.
It's a great point.
I'm not spending $1,000 on no Yeezys.
No, that's facts. Nah, that's out. I feel it. That's
a you brought up a good point, bro. There's a saying from a guy that I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about how, like, for him, like, he's in a space to where new shoes aren't attractive to him. Like brand new shoes, he's like, they're not attractive to me. And basically his saying behind that is, you know, when I look at new shoes and I'm wearing them, I'm like, nah, there's no story. There's no backstory to them. I like me a pair of shoes that got scuffs on it, has paint on it. You know, maybe there's a little, you know, a dimple or just something like air bubble, whatever. Yeah. He's like, because when I look at them, I can tell you what actually happened from a story perspective, and it gives the shoes depth. It gives them personality. Yeah. And I was thinking, I'm like, nah, that's crazy. Like you want your shoes to look like that. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, that's so true though, because you look at a pair of new shoes, they're just new shoes. Like, you know, it can be whatever it wants, but you have a pair of shoes that, let's say your favorite pair of shoes. You can look at every little thing on there and be like, man, this has been to Japan. This has been in California. This has been over here. I've done this in these shoes. And I feel like your idea of what you're saying, the one-of-one, from your perspective, you are creating a story for that thing to give to somebody and share it with them. And that's not only an experience, but that's like oh, wow, I just got Zay's Unlimited, like 101, that this was curated or created from a whole different perspective than his last piece. Yeah. Like, and that's where the organic and just genuineness comes from. And I think where we're lacking is the consumer, you know, everything is just buy, same thing, just more. You're over here saying, no, like we talk about quality, less, but quality. And that's beautiful, bro. I think a lot of people are moving that way.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. It's you bringing up shoes and like just having a brand new pair of shoes. Like I'm at a point right now, like all I buy is white Air Force Ones. Like I probably got 7 at home. 6 of them probably dirty, but 1 of them ain't. But it's like, I don't want the new drops no more because they don't say nothing to me. They don't speak to me. They don't tell a story. That's what I want with my shoes, if anything. Like, or anything that I have or create, I want it to tell a story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure, like before Yeezy got to where it was now, Kanye was started small, but it had a story then. You know what I'm saying? It was real personal. If you had it was exclusive at the time. Now it's like, I just got a pair of Yeezys. You know what I'm saying? What's the next best thing you got for us, Yeezy? You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, I'm just like, I think the topic of conversation with us 3 is like an untapped market, an untapped situation. That's where my headspace is for the brand, honestly. You know, I could put a website and have like a whole bunch of shoes or a whole bunch of whatever, and you can just buy, but you lose like the love and you lose.
You get distance between the buyer and the seller for sure, bro.
I don't know I don't even know where the hell I got this whole custom thing from, but I did know that I've always been artistic. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I've always excelled in the art class and like elementary and stuff like that, but never in a million years that I think I was be doing like what I'm doing now. You know?
That's amazing.
And that leads me to ask, man, because there's so many different vocal points I could speak on, because you're explaining a lot and it's making me think about different things. But if you can elaborate on being an athlete, because once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete. So it's not like you're an ex-athlete. You're still an athlete. Yeah. When did you ever feel like there was a pool while you were playing sports to where it's like, I need to just be focused on sports, but I also have this creative space? Like, when did you realize, like, yes, I'm an athlete, but I'm also a creative too? Because sometimes as athletes, we're just one-dimensional. Yeah, it's just sports. But there are a lot of athletes that are creatives. Like, you have Brandon Jennings. He has a clothing line. Like, you have a lot of athletes that are really creative. When did you tap into like, okay, I'm an athlete, but I also have this creative side that I can tap into as well?
Yeah, I think it was probably in JUCO. I think that's where I separated the mindset of, well, it was in high school. So I knew I was good enough to play at the next level. I could have gone D1, but I really didn't want to put my eggs in that basket. And I think that's where a lot of athletes or past athletes fail at. If they put all their eggs in that athletic basket, not knowing that they can do like the other stuff that they want to do. Once I got to like my senior year, I was like, I don't want to go to the NFL. And I think that's where it happened at. Like
That's it right there. You're saying it right there. That's the shift.
Everything that like all my homeboys I played JUCO with, it's always football, football. And then I'm looking at it like when I made that shift of like I don't want to go to the NFL or be professional in high school, it already made me like close the gap between all of us or spread the gap, I mean. And I just think when you put all your eggs in the athletic basket of trying to be professional, you lose sight of who you actually can be and your personality growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's not until you go broke, lose everything after trying to get to the league.
Real.
To where you're like, oh, let me try to tap into my creativity or try to sell something or do something that I never thought about. You know what I'm saying? I just think I kind of got a head start or a cheat code on life with athletic too, like doing what I'm doing now. I think, the shift happened when I was like, I'm not going to the league. Because I have friends now who, when I played with them in JUCO, they was all football, and they wanted to go D1 because you still can after JUCO. Then they go to D1, and then after they graduate with their diploma, they don't do nothing besides, like some of them work at gas stations right now, but they got the paper. Like now it's like you lost years of like trying to do something else because you wanted to go to the league so bad. But like there's so much money out here. The league ain't always it. And honestly, professionals is like, going to any league is getting oversaturated. Everybody want to do it, and like now you got kids making millions. Like, you could talk about Baby Grunt making millions because he's just a fan favorite to the kids or whatever. You could talk about like Destroying doing YouTube. He making money off of that. He chose that over football. You know what I'm saying? And then like it's just I don't know. I just as a retired athlete, I'm gonna just say it. I think being coming from that background, you got to be able to understand that there's more ways to make money. Because here's the thing. My thing is, you spend all this time and effort trying to get to the league. You know what I'm saying? You spend all this money investing in yourself, going to all these PTs or whatever the hell. And then once you get to the point where you get told no too many times, you feel like you've lost everything that you put into yourself, and now you don't know what to do with your life. So I just think that's where the shift happened at, and also too like understanding that there's more to life than the sports, even if you are an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like some of my friends is coaches now, but you ain't getting paid for that.
Yeah,
it's just a weird. I don't know.
It's a blessing that you made that shift.
I think it's a sickness, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But
it can be kind of like cult vibes. It is. You know, like you get so consumed in it, and you know, I mean, I'm first to say like I got consumed in it very fast, and when you get to that shift, it's like you got to pick yourself out or pick yourself up and move out of it, or you got to keep moving forward. Yeah. So that's where it's really big. I'm glad that you asked that question, because now my question for you, bro, is, you know, kudos to you for doing the stuff that you're doing, you know, the creative ideas, the dreams that you have. I feel like dreaming as an athlete, as men, is huge. And that's one area that we always stress is you got to dream. You got to have, you know, aspirations, but you know, what is, you know, probably, and you don't have to share what you feel is comfortable, but like, talk about a time that was just dark for you. Talk about a time that you were in that moment of isolation, feeling alone. I do think as much as we're talking about the very good stuff and positive things, as men, we do have to, and athletes, we do got to talk about those times where it didn't work out, because it's not all sunshines and rainbows like you just said. So whatever you're open to sharing, bro, we would love to hear a little bit about that.
Honestly, I think I'll have two separate instances.
Sure.
Again, we're going to go back to JUCO.
For sure.
At that point in time, I had my son when I was 18. I was in JUCO, so my son was probably like 3 or 4 at the time when I was in JUCO. Mind you, I'm a kid myself, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a car. So, like I said, I'm from Tulare, and I moved to Fresno, which was like 45-minute drive. Didn't have a car. And then I was playing football. Like, the whole story, I feel like my whole story is a success story, so it's kind of weird, but even thinking about what I was, the position I was in, it's kind of like crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But I had my kid at the time, and then with no job, because I'm playing football and going to school full time, I don't have time to get a job and make money. So when I would have my son on the weekends or the weeks where I didn't have any football stuff going on, we live around the corner. I live by Fresno State, but we lived around the corner from like a Wendy's. And I think what killed me back then is not having no money, like during like a Christmas break, and I had my son with me, going and trying to feed him. That was the biggest thing, you know what I'm saying? Man, I couldn't drive to go get some food real quick or whatever. Like we were literally walking in like the coldest weather, like foggy weather, just so I could feed him. You know what I'm saying? And then if I didn't have the money to go get some Wendy's, a little 4 for $4, like I'm looking in the cabinet and all I had was like peanut butter and crackers. But I got a whole kid I got to provide for at that time. And I think that's probably one of the darkest moments for me because it's like, I will make sure I would never ever get to this point ever again in my life. Like being someone who has to provide for another soul and not having the means to provide for myself or my kid, it was a big problem for me. And I thank God for my DB coach at the time because he saved me so many times. Like him and his wife would invite us over when I had him.
Wow, it's real.
They would give me money to get groceries. Like JUCO was a dark time. I'm sure everybody can relate for JUCO.
Oh, absolutely, bro. JUCO's crazy.
It's way worse though because we don't have dorms in California.
Yeah, it's
you have to build your own living. Yeah,
it's different out there, bro. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a real grind. So people who make it out of California JUCO, kudos to y'all. Like because
that is real. That's
real
different.
struggle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like everything is out of pocket. Like
You don't get scholarships either, right? Or
No, you don't get
it's
scholarships.
its own like there's a National Junior College Association and then California has like their own association.
Yeah.
So they don't get funded.
They
don't get funding for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why
real
even, I don't know
perspective.
if you've seen like the Last Chance You stuff.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
For sure.
Laney in Oakland. Them kids, they don't pay for nothing. I mean, they don't get
The
stuff
football?
for free. Yeah,
Was it the football one? Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah,
like
okay.
one of the DBs was on there. He lived in, I want to say he said Sacramento. He was driving 2 hours every day.
I remember
to
that.
get
I saw that.
I remember
It's
that.
just like
Yeah.
the grind for JUCO sports is insane. Like if you make it out, you make it out. Congrats to you. But like it's one of the hardest things as a black man coming from nothing, trying to make something out of nothing, honestly.
For sure.
But I think that was the first example of me being in like my darkest time of I'll never get here again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the most recent one was when I moved out here to play football. It was during the COVID season. So everything was closed. So I moved out here, couldn't go nowhere. Like we had to stay in our dorm out here. We couldn't go nowhere unless it was school or practice. And when I moved out here, I had no family out here, no friends out here at the time. It was like the first full year of me knowing nobody. And I was forced to like isolate myself and what's the word that they had you do? Like
Quarantine?
yeah, I was forced
okay.
to quarantine.
Yeah.
I was in like a headspace of because growing up, I've always felt like I guess you could say like as a Gemini or whatever, I've always had to have somebody around. Like if I lost somebody, I'm about to go to the next and get somebody else. Somebody was always there. But being forced to like be comfortable with my own space and be comfortable with being in my head and then growing out of that, I think that was probably the second worst feelings in the football scene as to the question you had asked me. But yeah, I just think had it not been for COVID-19 and the quarantining, I'll probably be like not who I am. I don't think I'd be who I am today, honestly, because I always had to have somebody around. And I cried alone. I hung out alone. I was figuring stuff out on my own. I had no help from nobody. So those two instances probably one of the darkest times that I'm like, I'll never get to this point. But I'm super grateful for the quarantine portion of it because though I want to be around all these people and I want all these relationships, I know now that I don't need it. You know what I'm saying?
There you
That's
go.
real.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm cool with Zay. Cool with Zay. You know what I'm saying?
Being your own
like
best
it.
friend.
Yeah. I had to learn that. It was hard for
Absolutely.
me because I've
Absolutely.
like I said, I've always been the one everyone gravitated towards. To. Nobody could do nothing. I mean, I was making TikToks and stuff, but outside of that, it's like, bro, that was a crazy time for me.
Yeah. Thank you for
Crazy.
sharing that, man.
Yeah, that's
That's
real.
honest.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's real. Again, it's crazy that you mentioned those two things, bro, because we just got done talking about that for the last few weeks about how important it is for us guys to really be with our thoughts. And there's a difference from isolation, where in your terms, isolation was real because you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And then the difference between isolation and, being, having your own privacy, being able to go and be with yourself, whether it's prayer, whether it's journaling, whether it's just sitting, in a room and just nothing's on. And I think it's so challenging for us to do that because for me, at least early on, I was always on. So I always wanted to be boom, boom, boom. I got to be productive. And when I had to get into that place, I felt similar towards you of, man, I'm really not okay with myself. It was a weird feeling. Like you gravitate towards so many people, but whenever you're alone, you're just like, oh, this is real. Like you really understand that I need to get good with me before anyone else.
Yep.
So I appreciate you first and foremost for sharing that, bro. But yeah, but that's a huge blessing. I'm glad that you're able to get yourself out of it. And, you know, like you said, do better for yourself and have that as something that you can look back on and just be blessed for.
Oh yeah, 100%. And honestly, like, I don't know if y'all do it, but I live my life by quotes. Like, in those dark times, it's kind of like, well, yeah, my favorite quote of all time, honestly, is from ATL when he was like, "It's not what you know, it's who you know."
Oh, that's a good one.
When I tell you that line right there is like, wow, I live
Big
by
Boy
for
said
sure.
that?
Yeah.
That was Big Boy who said that, right? Yeah. Facts.
That's one of the lines I live by. The one conversation could change your life, I live by. And then another one is you don't understand shit until you go through shit.
That's real.
That's one of the biggest ones. That's like, I can talk, or we can all talk and move like we know every answer and stuff like that, but you don't understand shit until you go through it, like real bad on every level. So yeah, I think quotes is what I live by, mind you, because I wasn't raised by my parents, so it's kind of like I got to figure out ways to like mold myself into the man I want to be by shit that I've experienced, you know.
For sure.
But yeah,
For sure.
Being able to pull from somewhere. Now, shifting back to your brand, the Unlisted brand. So from my understanding, you have the bandanas, you have the hats, and you have the shoes. Is there any other space that you want to go into with the clothing, or do you want to right now just focus on that area and just kind of like master that and then eventually branch off?
Honestly, I probably won't branch off.
Okay.
Like, I think I would stay on the
Keep it
one-on-one.
niched.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to do like, I don't want to do a clothing brand, but I do want to do like a every so often, like, oh, look, I dropped this. Like,
Pieces.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll do that. But I just feel like if I go the route of doing a clothing brand, I'm going to lose the brand I've created, you know?
Understood.
Like the bandanas and the hat thing was like so random. I've been doing shoes for like 10 years, but doing a hat or doing bandanas never crossed my mind. But I'm also on some like I said earlier, like there's a lot of people that want to support but don't have the means to buy no custom shoes from me because I'm not saying I'm taxing, but it ain't cheap because my work is good.
No, I charge you.
Yeah,
You're supposed to.
yeah.
You're not supposed to like, no, absolutely.
Discounts either. Nah,
Absolutely.
I might give some gifts and stuff,
For
but
sure,
I'm not going
for
to
sure.
give a discount. But it's just that me doing the hats, I just recently started doing those probably like 2 months ago. Because I've seen them on my Instagram. There's someone out here who does them. But I mean, I can support. I ran into him when he first started doing it like 4 years ago. But I can support it, but I'm also like coming from the same like customization artist aspect. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $150 to $200 on a hat that I know how much the supplies are and knowing I can do it myself. And then when people get to a certain status, they start to overprice stuff. Like me, you could get a hat done by me for like $25, $50, if that. And that's cool. That hits a lot of people who want some fly shit, you know? But yeah, and then the bandana thing, random. Like when I went to LA a few weeks ago, I went into like the Rhinestone store to get some stuff for hats and some shoes. And then I just seen the bandana and I just bought one for myself. And I'm like, you know what? And I posted it. Everybody was like, let me get one. I was like,
sweet,
let me try
bro.
it. So I was in conversation with the guy who runs the store. And I was like, well, me having an LLC now, I'm like, how much what's the wholesale price?
Sure.
So he was like, the minimum wholesale price is $12 for what you want. And then that's a cheaper way to do it because they sell the same thing that I sell. But if I bought that straight up from them, I would only profit like pennies to the dollar. You know what I'm saying? But the way I'm doing it is like my profit margins are way higher. But it was just that was random. Like everybody is rocking with them right now. Like I bought, I think only 12 just to test the water. Sold all of them.
That's
like,
sweet, bro.
Like
Thank you.
And I mean, like I'm posting on TikTok and everybody in my DMs like, I want one. And I'm like, this shit crazy because I low key made like some good money just in the past 2 days off bandanas. And I'm like,
Content creation.
Random.
Content.
It's so random, but I just think the one-on-one thing and something that nobody has seen or thought about doing in a long time, I think I'm just staying where I'm at right now. The hats is cool. It's also good money. Bandana's good money. The shoes is slower work because it's more expensive. But to stay busy, I just picked up the bandanas and the hats.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah,
I like that, man. I'll just say this before, you go ahead and do your thing, bro. But what you're saying, man, I think there's something special about having specifics and not branching off to a whole bunch of things to where it can get cluttered and being very, very specific on what you're putting out. So you mentioning the bandanas, the hats, and the shoes, and then also being personable with, hey, look, you can get in contact me with through the DM, or I can text you. That's a very, very like specific, niched space that's needed. Of course, scaling matters. So if you need to, you can scale how you know or see fit for your business. But again, like Fob said, if I'm coming for some custom shoes and you're texting me on updates, or you're asking me like how you want to go about this, it's just more of a personable experience to where it's like, nah, I like this. To where you tell your boys like, hey, look, one of my boys, he customizes shoes. Yeah, he stays in contact with you. He reaches out. He gives you updates. Now, of course, once you grow, again, you scale how you see fit. But there's something special about having specific niches and having, okay, you have 3 things that you do that people can pull from, because it's like a menu. You go into a restaurant and it's a slew of items, and you like, hey, look, can you just tell me what's the most popular thing? It's so many things on here. So having only specific things where people can pull from, it's like, okay, well, I have 3 options. I pull from one of these 3, then I get in tune. I like where you're going with that, man. I really like that.
I appreciate it for sure. Yeah.
I think all in all, bro, the time that we've spent with you has been amazing. You know, getting to know you a little bit more and hearing your stories. I'm a big believer in, I think we can all attest to it, and from the things that we've heard, you're not buying the product, you're buying the person. What are some things that you want to tell the people listening and watching out right now? Like, what is something that you want them to understand and hear, not only about your brand, but about you and, what you're trying to do with your life?
Honestly, one, like we said earlier, move with integrity. That's the biggest thing. Once you figure that out, you'll be straight. The second thing is create and build a foundation, because you can't build a house without concrete laid first, Once you get your foundation laid, meaning like your friend group or people who support you or whatever, then start building off of that. That's probably one of the biggest things for me right now is I wouldn't be where I am right now had I not laid the foundation, had I not been cool with everybody, had I not been such a positive light in a lot of people's lives, I would just be another motherfucker trying to make it. Like,
no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's easy for me because the relationships I've created and built is like, so many people want to see me win. Like, no matter what it is or whatever it is, as long as it's good, me being who I am, they want to see me win so bad, they'll support by any means necessary. And
that's real,
that's
bro.
The biggest thing for me is I have a good, like, backyard. You know what I'm saying? There's a few people around the corner, around the block that support and that I love too. But if it wasn't for the people in my backyard, I probably wouldn't have the confidence. I wouldn't have like the drive that I have right now. I wouldn't have like anything without it, because I mean, I could walk around like my shit don't stink, but at the same time, it's kind of like getting that confirmation of like your shit is actually good. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would probably be in the same space I was a few years ago, like starting, stopping. But now it's like I'm tapping into people I probably would never even think about talking to at all. Like even conversating with like the head coach of the hip hop dance team for the Mercury and the Suns.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like they thinking about like doing custom shoes by me for the whole team.
That's a blessing, bro.
What I'm saying?
That's a blessing.
Yeah,
that's awesome, bro.
Sure.
And it's crazy because I was talking about it with my homeboy yesterday, and he was like, "You want to go to the Laker game this week?" I said, "Next time I go in that arena, I'm gonna be on the floor with."
That's
my
how you supposed to think. That's it. That's it.
Saying? But
that's it.
I just think just staying level headed, setting priorities right, making sure your house is in order, and then leading by example. Honestly, don't really try to be too much or overbearing to a lot of people. Like don't try to throw yourself or whatever you're trying to create into somebody's face. Like if they like it, they love it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the biggest thing. Outside of that, that's just as a brand. That's who I am. Super personable, big on relationships, and then as a person, if you see me outside, say what's up.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Well, Zay, bro, thank you so much, man.
Shake your hand, bro. Love.
Yeah.
And give your information.
Yeah,
your
drop
tags,
it on the tags.
Damn, I got hella tags on playing. TikTok is _unlisted Zay without the E in unlisted. Instagram is personal Instagram is _unlisted Zay _, and then my business page on Instagram is _unlisted. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But before I go, y'all know I got some gifts for y'all.
Oh man, that's
that's crazy.
What's crazy is what I did to the ass today. I ain't done to no hats yet. So
oh, that's real.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying
on site, the first ever.
I'm throwing it on.
The first ever.
A lot of word of mouth stuff going on here. All right. Look, people. Okay, before I give it to you,
Okay.
I know you say you like trucker hats.
For sure.
So I got you a trucker hat.
Man,
But
that's
I
love.
was asking for your size fitted. The fittest they had was ugly to me. So
That's fine.
I got you a A-frame snapback, but it's so hard, bro. It's like a Valentine's Day thing.
Bro, this is amazing. That is tough. That's Dodgers.
That's tough. You got LA. Dodgers.
Got you
That's
this
beautiful,
one.
bro.
Little Mustang.
My God. Oh yeah. All black too. I've been on that all black
and
way.
since I had these laying
Fine
around,
Dutch.
go ahead and give y'all each one of these little
Oh,
situations.
bro, those are
Throwing
tough.
this in a video.
This is crazy.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, we need to get this shown.
That's
Hold up
tough.
real
Yeah.
quick.
That's
Look at
tough.
that.
My God.
It's Christmas
That's
all
easy,
over
bro,
again.
too.
Like JUCO.
Christmas came early.
D1
Christmas
college
came
Christmas. This is amazing, bro.
I think you
Oh,
had
these
it
are
on-
beautiful.
You had it on like this when we
Yeah,
were
There it is. There it is.
Throw that on there, real silky.
Yep.
ASAP vibes.
That's
Hey,
crazy,
you
bro.
pop in the club, they could be like, "Ooh, where you get that
Yeah,
from?"
nah, hey brother, I
seriously.
appreciate you, bro.
Unlisted.
It's
Yeah,
love, bro.
absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you, brother, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate you, dog.
Thank you,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, man, this has been an amazing hour
Tap in
spent.
with
Yeah,
Zay.
tap in, bro. This is
Tap in.
crazy.
See that? Indeed.
There's so many things that I can say, but to keep it short, you know, with where we're at in time, you know, first off, support a brother right here. You know, go out, do what you got to do. Like, this stuff is great, man. He took his time. This is all love and everything. It's one of our first gifts on the BHD
I'm gonna be
podcast.
wearing this too.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm wearing it
Yeah,
just like this.
Definitely.
I believe it. I
throwing
believe
This
it
is
it.
on
tough,
silk.
bro. But like I said, man, this is a whole new journey that we're going on. So it's been a while since we've had a guest on, but you know, we're definitely gonna be tapping into just, you know, speaking as athletes and our experiences moving forward. And again, just tap into to his socials, tap into the BHD podcast, and make sure you're always staying blessed, be humble, and always stay determined in everything you're doing, y'all. So have a good night. We'll talk to y'all.
Yeah.